Gotta let it go. Keep turning, step around. Keep turning.
And because Jake Paul doesn't know better. He can't learn how to win that front foot challenge by the time he fights Tank. Tank is a southpaw. If he, just like Terence Crawford did against Nello, he gets on the outside of Jake, and that left is coming down the pipe all night while he stays away from Jake's right hand, it should be an easy fight for Tank.
You got a guy, Jake Paul, that's what, 6'3", 6'4", almost? Then you got a guy, Gervonta Davis, that's like 5'5", a little guy. Yeah. Y'all gonna try to, who's 200 pounds, just for Mike Tyson there, I'm gonna throw him in there with a 135. It's just a circus.
Terence Crawford has reportedly been sparring with Gervonta Davis ahead of Davis's fight with Jake Paul. The training sessions show both fighters exchanging sharp techniques and powerful combinations, helping Davis prepare for Jake's size and strength. Crawford's precision and defensive skill push Tank to adapt quickly. This intense sparring has sparked excitement among fans who believe it could give Davis a major edge going into the Jake Paul fight.
Oh, stop closing up. Gotta let it go. Keep turning, step around. Keep turning.
The Wade Concept podcast host observed a noticeable change in Gervonta Davis's attitude and effort as he prepared for his upcoming fight against Jake Paul. He pointed out that Tank's sparring sessions and gym routines now carry a sharper intensity, showing he's treating this fight more seriously than ever before. In past training camps, Tank often appeared calm and playful, but now he's all focus. Every punch, every drill, and every movement seems driven by the goal of silencing critics who think this matchup is only for publicity. The host mentioned how Tank appears to be training with a killer mindset, not just to win, but to knock Jake Paul out. His workouts display explosive energy, quick footwork, and heavy combinations meant to close the gap between him and the bigger man. The way he's pushing himself signals that he wants to make a statement, that size doesn't define dominance.
It's how you get better. But Jake's, obviously sparring smaller guys. Seeing not only what weapons they bring to a sparring session because, they're not as big in stature. There's going to be a 60-pound weight difference probably. Actually, a little bit of update on that today as well. Tank's looking a little bigger than I've normally seen him. We'll talk about that in a second. But obviously, Jake is going to work with some of the better guys in the smaller weight classes to get prepared for what Tank could potentially bring. Now, Tank is a one-of-one in that respect, so it's difficult sometimes to prepare yourself in that same way. But on that same note, we have a couple new things out from Tank Davis. Number one, it's not necessarily new, but the last kind of work we've seen from Tank, just in general, is this video right here. Just chopping the bag, turning over shots. Chopping to the body, every shot to the midsection. Now again, not to read too much into things, but we go back to this video, and I don't know what's being said here between Ray and Jake, but he's telling him, something with the high guard, don't even do that. I'm trying to draw a parallel between potentially what Ray Ford did to Jake in this spar and what could potentially be going down in Tank's camp that can line up the dots. Again, we don't have a lot to go off of. What we generally think may happen in this fight is that Jake Paul will probably use his size, his frame, and his power to try to land big shots, not throw a ton of punches, and not gas himself out against Tank, who, again, this is an exhibition. Yes, there'll be judges, and someone, I guess, will win, is what they're saying. But does that mean that someone actually has a win-loss on their record? No, because you can't sanction something like this in a pro fight. Tank, on the other hand, who already is a low-output puncher, is going to look to utilize his speed, his head movement, his quickness, his agility, his angles, his footwork, his defense to offense transition, and vice versa, to catch Jake when he does eventually open up with bigger punches and make him pay. Also, he's going to look to slow Jake down and potentially work him into those later rounds to where Tank can still be explosive. And when I look at this little exchange from Jake and Ray Ford, again, I could be completely missing the read here. Ray is either telling him, this is what you need to do, or this is what I was able to do to you because of, we go back here, because of this high guard, I was able to get to your body. Something like that maybe. Or it could be, again, I could be just completely missing it. And then you see this from Tank. All body work. Just hammers to the body. Level changes, head off center, angle switch, all that work in the bag. That was one of the more recent videos we saw.
Showbiz. The adult offered a sharp perspective on one of the fight's most debated topics, the height and reach difference between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. He reminded fans that Tank has already faced opponents with similar or even greater advantages. According to Showbiz, the gap between Jake and Tank isn't nearly as large as people claim. If Tank was able to reach Barrios, who was taller and more experienced than Jake, then there's no reason he can't close the distance here. Showbiz emphasized that Davis's knockout victory over Barrios is proof that he can dismantle bigger fighters with timing and precision. He argued that Jake Paul may have size, but he lacks the defensive instincts and ring IQ of professional boxers like Barrios. The moment Tank finds his rhythm, he can neutralize Jake's reach and turn the size difference into an advantage for himself.
Look at that. Did he reach him? He sure did. Look at the height, 6 feet and 6'1". The height comparison ain't much different. And the thing is, if you look at him, the thing is, look at how Tank shows that he can reach him. See that push? Look where Tank's hand is. Look at where Jake's chin is. He can reach him. In reaching him, though, can he hurt him? The gloves are big. You get what I'm saying? Jake Paul is a big guy. They're going to be fighting at 195. When Jake Paul gets in the ring, he's going to be 200 plus. All right? He may be around 210. Think Jake's going night-night? Okay. Tank studying? Okay. Let's look at Tank. That was just a couple days ago. They captured that just a couple days ago, him training for Jake. Of course, that's a 300-pound boxing bag, a heavy bag, 300 pounds. So he's swinging it. Let's look at Gervonta and look at Barrios. Let's look at a few highlights here. He can reach 6 feet, no problem, let alone 6'1". Ain't gonna be that much of a difference. All right. Let's break down what we saw here. Let's think about this. Let's think about it. Now that we know he's reaching him, let's think about this. Who's a more skillful fighter, Barrios or Jake Paul? Ain't even a damn question. Barrios a far more skillful fighter than Jake. Who has better reflexes, Barrios or Jake Paul? Barrios. Barrios has better reflexes. Okay.
Terence Crawford gave a balanced take on the potential outcome between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. He acknowledged that Tank possesses extraordinary punching power and elite boxing instincts, but he also admitted the truth. Jake Paul's size gives him a real chance. Crawford said both men can win depending on how they use their strengths. Tank has speed, explosiveness, and accuracy, while Jake has reach, height, and a solid chin. Crawford's statement shows respect for both fighters. He believes Tank's power can shock Jake if he manages to land cleanly, but if Jake keeps his distance and uses his jab effectively, he could make the fight difficult. It's a realistic view, coming from a champion who understands that no matter the skill gap, physical differences can still shape the outcome.
Tank is very talented, punch hard, explosive, the whole 9 yards, but Jake too big for Tank. In reality, he's way too big for Tank. I think Jake by youth.
Recent training footage of Gervonta Davis has left fans amazed. Tank is seen unleashing fierce combinations on the punching bag with incredible speed and strength. His power looks unmatched as each punch echoes through the gym, showing how hard he's pushing himself for the upcoming fight. His focus is sharp, his rhythm precise, and his conditioning stronger than ever. Every strike looks like a statement of intent. Tank isn't here to play games. He's preparing to prove that even against a naturally bigger opponent, his skills, power, and determination can't be overshadowed. This version of Gervonta Davis looks like a man ready to remind everyone why he's one of boxing's most dangerous fighters. Several boxing analysts commented on the unusual nature of Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul, saying it blurs the line between real boxing and entertainment. These experts, known for analyzing both technique and promotion, believe this fight focuses more on spectacle than sport. Still, the attention it's getting proves how modern boxing is changing. While purists criticize it, others see it as a sign of how fame and competition now mix to create massive global interest.
Fights like this, with fighters pretty much in their prime. But other than the size mismatch, most people are wondering why has Tank taken this fight? And those were the first questions targeted to Tank in this presser. Because usually these sorts of bouts are relegated to the latter part of your career. And for most Gervonta Davis supporters, they thought they would get the big fights next, the Shakurs. They didn't think he would be fighting Jake Paul. Although Tank tried to push it off as fans should just be happy watching the sport and hey, haters will be haters, I think that's quite unfair to the people who have been loyal supporters of him and honestly have paid his bills. He tried to compare the level of criticism he gets to the likes of Mayweather, but the difference is with his mentor Floyd, he really did fight a lot of champs in their prime. Has Tank? Well, not really. The most notable fight he's recently had that the people actually wanted was the Ryan Garcia fight, and the only reason he took that fight was because everything was on his terms. And other than the Ryan fight over the last couple years, it's either been people who aren't in his weight division, which he's pulling up, or fighters ranked in the lower half of the top 10 lightweight list. The fights people have truly wanted to see just have never materialized, and simply that's why people criticize him. If the likes of Crawford never fought Spence or Usyk never fought Fury or Joshua, they would have caught the same level of flack. The reason why fighters like them are applauded is because generally they take on whatever challenge is in front of them. Tank instead, his whole career has bobbed and weaved around the most significant challenges that the people actually want to see unless he has everything his way.
Former world champion Chris Algieri, respected for his sharp boxing IQ and balanced commentary, praised Jake Paul for reshaping how boxing reaches the modern audience. In his view, Jake has brought fresh energy to a sport that was losing mainstream appeal. Algieri noted that Jake's ability to attract both influencers and professional fighters shows his unique promotional power. Instead of relying on legacy or belts, Jake built hype through personality and spectacle, making boxing relevant again for younger generations who previously ignored it.
Nothing to do with him. Let's go with the Jake Paul route, which is, again, mostly win-win for him. It's more win-win for Jake, but it's mostly win-win for him.
Right. So what does Gervonta Davis?
Whoa, hold on.
I gotta respond. That's what I want, Chris. Go ahead.
I didn't even get to talk.
Please.
So what has he done for the sport? I mean, manufactured or not, he went out there and he performed and he got knockouts and people tuned in. Boxing fans tuned in. And you can talk about that shoe fight and that shoe. They're not boxing fans. Gervonta Davis sold pay-per-views to boxing fans. And he got boxing fans to come to fights, which is so needed. Desperately needed in this day and age.
They marketed him that way. You can
Nobody
market anybody.
sells.
You can market it
That's
that
not
way.
true.
You can market
That's
it that
not
way.
true.
And champ,
You
you
can't
should
market
know
anybody,
better
or
because
we
you
would
and
have
I,
these guys.
you and I were very marketable and never got any marketing except as opponents for high-level fighters. And you should know that. They talk about great white hypes and all this other stuff. No, that's absolutely not true. They manufacture what they want to manufacture. Shakur Stevenson can be marketable. He's not ghetto enough. Andre Ward was very marketable. He's not ghetto enough. Why do black fighters only get marketed when they're quote-unquote ghetto, when there's class guys who you can market as great examples? Shakur Stevenson, Andre Ward, so on and so forth. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Yeah, I'm saying it. People complain because I'm too real, and I'm going to be honest. Why could Ray Leonard be manufactured as a... I don't even want to use the word manufactured because Ray Leonard actually was legit.
Great fighter.
But Ray Leonard promoted as the class guy, and it worked. Why could you do it back then, but now you can't do it? Andre Ward was gold medalist the same way, class, could speak, mature, poised, could fight his ass off. Why didn't you market him the way you marketed Ray Leonard? What happened between 1976 and 2004? Why are you marketing only?
Two letters.
Why are you marketing only Thug life. Why? And I'm not saying, okay, I wasn't a part of this because I was a big fan of the hip-hop gangster rap generation and all this other stuff. But as a 44-year-old, you start to realize the concept of the entire scope of things.
Analysts discussing the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight say its result could shape the sport's direction for years to come. They believe this matchup represents more than strength or skill. It's a test of what kind of boxing the public now values. If Jake wins, it might inspire a new wave of influencer versus pro fights, blending fame with competition. Some see it as evolution, while others fear it blurs boxing's purity. Either way, it's redefining what audiences expect from modern combat sports.
Hate it, the algorithm loves it, and both will watch. It's not just who wins, it's what wins. Will the entertainment value or the ring IQ come out on top? Because if Tank dominates, the meme dies. Jake Paul survives or hits it big, we see new rules are going to be written in real time. Me, you, maybe everyone at some point has been that bigger guy thinking that I'll just bully him. Jab, slip, liver shot, sat me down real nicely. Size helped until it didn't. All I'm saying is let's not dismiss something because it looks weird. Many fights get decided by the details. Feet before fists, timing before muscle, discipline before clout. Look, Tank wins if he stays Tank. He's built on patience, traps, explosive counters. That's hell for a tall guy who gets eager. Jake's long jab is the gate, but Tank's head movement is the key. Once he times it, the door's getting open and the furniture is going to get rearranged. Think locksmith versus padlock. Big padlock looks scary until the right tool clicks once. Jake throws that overhand like he's bowling with the shoulder. Effective, but you don't see it.
We are nearing the end. Overhand right now.
Yeah. I don't think the record really means much.
But Tank's whole thing is seeing what you think you're hiding. So what cracks first? Patience or posture? Size is real, but it's not a strategy by itself. If Jake tries to lean, clinch, slow it, sure, but that's survival. That's not victory, unless he's landing the right. Jab, grab, breathe. Meanwhile, Tank is downloading, collecting timestamps. Ever see a big guy wrestle? Yeah, those first few minutes looks like a forklift, but by minute 5, forklift needs a nap. Can a forklift catch a fly? Only if the fly gets lazy. Jake's body will be open, especially after mid-fight when hands start sinking. And when the guard starts to wither away, so will the chin. Body shots don't ask permission, they collect rent. Liver! You don't need to be a heavyweight to fold a man who's exhaling. A small, sharp guy versus a taller frame, seen it 100 times. You touch torso early, you tag shoulders late.
Many boxing commentators have voiced opposing views on the upcoming fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. Critics, including veteran analysts known for valuing traditional competition, claim the match is physically uneven. They argue that Davis's smaller frame limits fairness, making it suitable only as an exhibition without ranking consequences. Such fights, they say, lack lasting impact because no titles or records are on the line. However, several experienced trainers and fighters disagree, saying Davis's elite timing, footwork, and ring intelligence could easily outclass Jake. They highlight Tank's ability to close distance, disrupt rhythm, and turn disadvantages into opportunities. For them, skill always outweighs size, and Davis has proven this repeatedly throughout his career. This contrast of opinions keeps the discussion alive, showing how deeply divided the boxing world remains over whether this matchup represents true competition or just another crossover spectacle blending entertainment with sport.
About it, my question is, what's the rules, and like, are they gonna actually try and knock each other out? Because it's gonna be a glorified sparring match. I'm not watching, dude. I don't give a fuck.
Jake's gonna have a hard time hitting him.
Yeah.
You know?
Big time. Gervonta's so fast and skilled.
Gervonta's going to eat his
I thought
guts.
Jake was going to fight Anthony Joshua. That seemed
no, that
more,
was actually getting...
That
sounded
the
more
craziest
interesting.
idea I've ever heard. Jake Paul trying to fight Anthony Joshua is, you know, crazy.
Not a sanctioned professional bout. This means the fight will not count towards either fighter's professional records.
So it's still being finalized.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that.
What is so behind the scenes? You think there are things like, hey, we
yes
don't punch each other in the jaw.
Yep. Or don't go. We can punch in the face, but don't go for broke. Like, don't knock me out.
Really?
Yeah. It's an exhibition.
That's
so
not
they
very
can get away
interesting
with
to
it.
me.
No. Until I find the rule sets, but when I hear exhibition, I'm like, okay.
Jake is bodied up, man.
He's big.
Yeah.
Probably has 100 pounds on Gervonta.
Maybe. I'd say Gervonta probably walks at 150.
Oh, he's so small.
He's so small. I mean, he's really small. Bring up Gervonta Davis next to Floyd Mayweather, because I've seen Floyd in person, and he's tiny. You've seen Floyd in person.
I've worked with Gervonta and Floyd.
Tiny.
Well, Floyd likely has shoes on there.
Oh, dude, he's so small.
He's tiny, guys.
Yeah. I mean, he's so small.
Former super middleweight contender Jesse Hart openly defended Gervonta Davis against those criticizing his choice to face Jake Paul. Known for his straightforward opinions and understanding of the sport's financial side, Hart said people misunderstand Davis's intentions. He explained that Tank isn't neglecting his legacy, but adapting to boxing's modern reality, where big money fights often outweigh traditional matchups. Hart added that Davis deserves the freedom to secure financial stability through major events, arguing that calling it a circus ignores how today's boxing world truly operates.
If you want to join a circus, that's the circus. I don't see the value. I just see money involved in that. If they want the money, if that's what they want to do, then go ahead and go ahead and get the money. But other than that, I'm not. You got a guy, Jake Paul, that's what, 6'3", 6'4", almost. Then you got a guy, Gervonta Davis, that's like 5'5", a little guy. Yeah. Y'all gonna try to, who's 200 pounds, just for Mike Tyson there, I'm gonna throw him in there with a 135. It's just a circus, and that's what they want to do to get money, to generate money in the sport of boxing instead of Gervonta Davis. This is a legacy fight. He was supposed to fight Lamont Roach after this, and then he say, no. Think about it. You really can't say too much. When you say Gervonta Tank Davis and you say Lamont Roach, there's still a question mark on that fight. It was still a question mark on that rumble. You just gonna leave it and then go right to the money and say, no, I ain't. That's how you know legacy and everything don't matter. I did that before. I took the money with the Joe Smith fight when my hand was fucked up and, excuse my language, my hand was messed up, broke in training camp, and I still said, yo, no, I'm taking that, I'm still fighting him. I'm not gonna not fight him again. We're fighting him, Dad. We're fighting him, Rick. We're fighting him, Fred. I went against everybody. Jesse, don't take the fight, man. Let your hand heal. Let's get the surgery. No, I'm fighting him. It's too close. We 3 weeks out. I'm fighting him. We're gonna take a week off from the gym, and that wasn't an excuse. That's documented.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.